I listen up, man. You read the title right, because I'm about to keep it as straight up as a stop sign with y'all. Society wants you to become a slave to sex. Yes, sir. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Listen up. Society wants you to become a slave to your sexual impulses. You might be wondering, okay, man, why does society want that to happen? How do I break out of that? What is all going on? Well, relax. Relax. Relax, my guy. Because it's time for your boy to break this bitch down real quick like a brick for y'all. Now, what am I saying when I'm referencing to society wanting you to become a slave to sex? Am I saying society wants you to become sex trafficked? That you become a sex doll? No, we're not getting that demonic and dark and shit. What I'm saying is become a slave to sex is be in a compulsive nature to your sexual impulses. As you might know, sex sells. Society knows it, you know it, I know it, everybody knows it. And this is one of the strings that the Matrix, the Maya, the material world, aka this illusionary field that we're playing in, pulls on, so it actually takes your mind away from what your true purpose is. Pulls that string that pulls your attention away from what actually is going to fulfill your soul. It's trying to tell you, hey man, if you get X amount of girls, if you got X amount of bodies, you're going to be fulfilled in life. You're going to be the top G. You're going to be the top G, bro. You're going to be alpha. Become a real man. This is the peak pinnacle of what life is all about. This is your true purpose. You pedestalize pussy above all else. That's what they're programming you to become, a slave to sexuality. Is sex bad? Absolutely not. For the people that are practicing semen retention and celibacy, if you think sex is bad, you wouldn't be here. None of this stuff would be here. Sexual energy is divine energy, yet when it's used in a degenerate way, it destroys mankind's spiritual evolution. Goddamn, that's a bar. Let me say that again. Sexual energy is divine energy, yet when it's used in perverted and degenerated ways, it pulls man's consciousness away from his spiritual evolution. This is why they want you to become slaves to sex, rather than use your sexual energy towards your advancement and ascension mentally, physically, and spiritually. They want you to be subordinate to their agenda, to their goals, not to your goals, not to your duties, not to your dharma. If they can keep you distracted with fast food, pornography, hookup culture, all this nonsense, you never realize and you never understand and you never understand what it is that you truly were brought here to do. So you're always going from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, all this bullshit that keeps this cycle of samsara, aka this cycle of reincarnation, running over and over and over and over again. This is why they want you to become a slave to the flesh in totality. And if we're talking on a biological level, aside from survival, aka food, water, shelter, sex is the next thing that you innately crave on your carnal base essence. It's survival, sex, and then status. If you got survival down, guess what you're gonna be looking for? Sex. If you got survival and sex down, what are you gonna be looking for? Status. That's the lower three planes of existence, the lower three chakras, the lower three states of consciousness. That's what they want you to be trapped in. That's what they want you to be engrossed in. And the more you delve into that, the more you fall deeper and deeper and deeper away from your true purpose, your dharma. They disconnect that overall Wi-Fi code from you to God, from you to the higher source, from you to the higher self. This isn't some conspiracy talk. This is real deal. This is real life. This is what's happening every time you indulge in your lower senses on an impulsive, compulsive manner. It's not something that's evil. It's not something that's bad. But when it is using you, that's when things get all flipped. When the weed is smoking you, that's when it gets bad. When the alcohol is drinking you, that's when it gets bad. When the sex is having you, that's when it's getting bad. Compulsive, impulsive. You have no control over it. Whenever you get that urge to want to go drink, you gotta go drink. Even if you quote unquote don't want to. Every time you get that urge to release your seed, you gotta go release your seed, even though you don't want to. Every time you feel that urge to go smoke some weed, you have to. But even though you might not even want to actually partake in that for the time being. You see what I'm saying? Are you picking up what the fuck I'm putting down? Society wants you to become a slave just like that. And this is why they promote things that are all right in front of you, instant gratification. Because these things are hard to say no to. It's like, fuck, bro, I'm hungry. Back in the day, if you're hungry, you got to go hunt your food. You got to go grow your food. But guess what? You got Uber Eats, you got DoorDash, you got all this stuff at the tip of your fingers. Order it up, boom, it's right there. Oh man, I'm horny, I need some sexual relief. Instead of getting a wife, instead of getting a real mate, guess what happens? You just click on Pornhub, this, that. At your fingertips. Relief. Release. It makes you subordinate to your senses. Now it's your body who's in charge rather than your mind and spirit. Humans have the ability to go beyond just the instincts. I got my dog right here. My dog is only basing its life on instincts. Survival, sex, status. That's totally fine for the animal. But for you as a human being, you did not incarnate here to just be an animal, because if that was the case, you would be a fucking animal. You would be the beast. You wouldn't be the man who's in between the beast and the spirit. Mankind has a free will to choose to be able to either fall into the depths and despair of being just the beast, or to ascend beyond the barriers of their mind and body and envelop themselves within the spirit, the soul. You have the choice. I have the choice. Everybody's got the choice. Yet society makes it seem like there's only one choice, and that is to feed the beast, feed your carnal nature, feed the lower animalistic aspects of yourself. This is why they want you a slave to your senses, because they know once you're a slave to your senses, they can control you. They can get you by the balls and pull you in this way, pull you in that way, and make you a mere cog in the machine, in the matrix, in the Maya, in the illusion. This is why the stuff we talk about on this channel, on the main channel, on the private Patreon community, my bad. Shout out to the fucking private Patreon community, man. Listen, my guy. Are you listening? If you enjoy learning about these topics and subjects that go deep into the inner nature of your mind, body, and soul, and you have not joined up into the private Patreon community yet, you are doing yourself, yes, yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror right now. You're doing that guy a huge motherfucking disfavor. Because within there, we are unpacking, going much more in depth and in detail to this overall esoteric science of self-mastery. The ability to break off those chains, break off those bonds that keep you stuck as a mere slave to your senses, unable to realize who you are on a higher level, on a higher state of consciousness, your higher self, and never realizing what it was that you were brought here to do, your higher aspirations, your spiritual duty, your dharma. So you get exclusive videos within the private Patreon community unpacking all of that good stuff. How to elevate yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually. Unlock the mind, purify the body, and awaken the soul in order for you to master the self. So if you like that type of stuff and you want to get into deeper aspects of it, get access to our full guides, in-depth occult lectures, and most importantly, if you tap into the Philosopher's Circle, aka the highest membership tier group within the private Patreon community, you'll get access to our private group chat where we host our bi-weekly mastermind live calls. Yes, sir, 2 live calls each and every single month, bi-weekly. Come on now, are you picking up what I'm putting down? Where you're surrounded with not only people of course, me who's leading the group, who's leading the calls, but a community of like-minded men who are also on the same path towards self-mastery in order to attain self-realization. If you want to be around a community of people who have that same goal, same drive, and same overall aspirations as you do, so you don't feel like an outcast, so you don't fall back into your old ways, so you don't have to be a crabs in the bucket type of mentality where you try to send in all your surroundings, your environment, your people that you hang out with, pull you back down to your lower senses. If you want to be around people that are actually going to help elevate you and hold you accountable to that point, this is the place for you, my boy. The Philosopher's Circle is the place for you. Check out the links posted in the pinned comment of this video to make sure to understand what else we got going on there, because also within the pinned comment of this video, you'll see our other links to our other services, whether that be application forms for my personalized coaching programs if you want to work with me one-on-one, consultation calls if you just want to book a call, discuss whatever it is that you're dealing with, help you elevate and get you back on the right track towards your Dharma, weekly newsletters, free community Discord server, all that stuff again posted in the pinned comment of this video. But like I was saying, the stuff that we talk about on this channel, on the main channel, the private Patreon community, with the people I'm working with one-on-one, in my programs, or even on the consultation calls, are all about this practice of self-mastery, this path, this journey of being able to master yourself and go beyond the confines of what society is trying to put you into. Breaking the chains, breaking the barriers, breaking the wall that is in between you and your higher self. They want to put up that wall. They want to put up that barrier. They want to put up that division between you and your divine essence. Because guess what? When you tap into your divine essence, you're no longer easily able to be molded and controlled. They want pawns on the chessboard. They don't want kings. They don't want queens. They don't want people who are bossing up and saying, I'm not even playing the game no more. I've broken the game. I'm a glitch in this matrix. Fuck you. They don't want that. And guess what? This is why they promote hypersexuality within our society. Every time you hop on some social media platform, guess what you're seeing? Ass and tits. Is it the women's fault? Absolutely not. They are manipulating women the same amount that they are manipulating men. They're using and abusing women's feminine body and nature, making it seem like, hey, if you want to become a boss bitch, you want to get all this attention, all that stuff from these guys, and that's the peak pinnacle, that's the pedestal of your overall journey. Like, think about it. The peak pedestal for the man that they're trying to program you is to get girls. The peak pedestal that they are programming into females is to get male attention. So it goes hand in hand. It's a double whammy that fucks up the spirit and the soul of all of society. It's a 1-2, jab, cross, and knock the fuck out. But if you see it, and you can go beyond that through the practices, again, that we talk about here on the main channel, the private Patreon community, with the people I'm working with one-on-one, celibacy, semen retention, meditation, improving the body, biohacking, bioenergetics, all that stuff, becoming an actual master of this vessel rather than the vessel just driving wherever the fuck the car wants to go, whatever the programming that society has set in your brain, then you actually are able to go beyond the nonsense, the bullshit, the illusions, and actually understand what you were brought here to do. Because no matter what, no amount of food, no amount of cars, no amount of clothes, no amount of hoes, no amount of money, no amount of material objects can ever suffice, can ever reproduce what it feels like to be on that path towards your spiritual fulfillment in life, towards your Dharma. Even when things might be going good, things might be going bad, if you are on that righteous path towards what you were really brought here to do, that gives you an internal sense of spiritual ecstasy, of bliss, of pure presence in the moment that cannot be replicated through any other facet. That's why they want to disconnect you from that, because if you are abiding in that state, you won't need external substances, external sources of just overall dopamine to make you feel alive anymore. You are truly living finally. You see what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? There's some real game, there's some real sauce. Society wants you to become a slave to your senses, especially to sex, so you never realize that you are beyond just the senses. A lot of people will never realize that. A lot of people will stay stuck within their lower instincts, within their lower nature. And that's totally fine. But for you guys that are especially watching this channel, the second channel, What the Fulati, where we are here in the field, in the flesh, dropping game for y'all motherfucking brains. No cuts, no edits, just straight up off the dome, you dig? You guys are more psychologically and spiritually matured than the masses. I'm not saying you're better than anybody. I'm not saying you're chosen, a chosen one. Got me choking out here. I'm not saying that. Because you already know I ain't with that new age spirituality bullshit. You ain't special. You ain't somebody that's, oh man, you were the chosen one to do celibacy and secrecy. No. You have just been blessed with, maybe through past lives, with the karmic cards you were dealt, to be able to understand these deeper concepts. Most of the masses won't even be able to listen to a video for this long, nevertheless actually grasp what I'm saying. So for you guys out there that are watching this channel in specific, you cannot waste this opportunity in this incarnation to just be a subordinate slave to society and just be chained to the will of your senses, to the impulses. That's not what you were brought here to do. If you actually can understand what I'm saying, do not keep on binge watching this shit and mentally masturbating. Oh man, what Fulati's saying is right, definitely. And then you just go back to being a slave to your senses. Actually apply, because you can be a beacon of light for others to actually awaken themselves as well. Maybe this content, maybe this channel in specific is helping you on your path to find your Dharma. You can be that same source like I am for you right now, for other people. I'm not special, you're not special, nobody here is special. We all have that divine spark within us. Yours might be ignited maybe through this channel. Some people's might be ignited through listening to your music, to looking at your art, through the services that you provide. You're never gonna find that though if you're continually being a slave to sexuality, continually being a slave to your carnal instincts. You're gonna continue to build up karmic debt, which is slowly but surely gonna block off and disconnect you from your Dharma. We got a whole video about this, a lecture on the Patreon, about dissolving your karmas to discover your Dharma. Whole video on this channel specific, talking about that as well. Make sure you go run it up after this. How the carnal mind, the cravings of your carnal mind will accumulate karmic debt. Society wants you to be a slave to your senses, so you accumulate more karmic debt and you continue to stay stuck in your carnal states of consciousness, never being able to rise beyond that and view past the layers of the veils of the matrix, of the Maya, the illusion, going past impulses, going past compulsions. It's not easy, because they're essentially using your own biology against you, using your own neurochemistry against you. This is why you need to understand and deconstruct your own vessel in order for it to be reconstructed and reformatted for your advantage rather than your demise. This is the path of self-mastery. This is why you renounce the bullshit in order for you to realize what actually matters. If you go into a restaurant and there's 30 fucking different items on the menu, you're gonna be stuck in a state of paralysis or paralysis by analysis. You don't know which one to get. But if there's only a couple things that you know is really good, there's only a couple things on the menu, that's what you're gonna get. Renouncing and saying no to the bullshit so you can say yes to what really matters. Pornography, hookup culture, fast food, junk food, social media, all this stuff, pulling your attention away. But when you bring back that attention through practices of self-mastery, meditation, celibacy, semen retention, you bring that internal vision back into perspective, aka the internal knowledge or gnosis that can only be accessed from within. In there, you'll find all the answers to what you were really brought here to do. I don't know what your Dharma is. I don't know what you were really brought here to do. But what I do know is if you continue to allow your energy, attention, and focus be essentially zapped out of you through these degenerate habits, through these degenerate activities that society is promoting, you're never gonna realize that, because that energy is it's like think about it when you charge your phone at night, it's 100%. But when you go about your day, it just depletes over time. You need energy, attention, and focus to be redirected internally in order for you to realize these things. Where do you think your energy is going every time you release your seed? Outward, depleting. So when you revitalize it back to yourself, this is why it awakens certain parts of your psyche, your psychic glands, if you want to call it that, your spiritual senses, if you want to call it that, that were dormant, but they were always there before. It's like finally we got some power to be able to turn on the generators of your higher faculties. And this allows you to be able to operate in life not as a slave to your senses, but actually realize what you were really brought here to do. That ain't gonna happen if you're constantly depleting yourself through these bad habits. You're depleting that battery charge every time. You need the battery to be able to actually charge yourself from within. This is why celibacy, semen retention, is a far more potent practice than you might ever realize. It's not just about quitting porn, quitting bad addictions, not being a slave to your sexuality, but it's about taking back the energy, reclaiming back your power, and letting it actually propel you towards your highest potential. You don't know what your highest potential is because you have not become your higher self. Your higher self can only achieve the highest potential. If you're not the higher self, forget about the highest potential. This is output. But what you can actually focus on is the input. What are you inputting into your mind, body, and soul that is helping you become your higher self? Because once you attain the highest state of consciousness, you naturally, as a byproduct, get pulled towards your highest potential. It's just a part of life. It is a byproduct of actually going on this path of self-mastery. It ain't something that you have to strive towards itself, the output. But when you actually focus your attention inwardly through these practices and not let it be depleted through all the bullshit, finally, you can find out what it is and who it is you were brought here to be and do. Society, the matrix, the mind, the illusion doesn't want that, bro. Because if you find that, you're another player that's not in their game anymore. Imagine if masses of society finally woke up to this. There is no more matrix, Maya, the illusion. It breaks, it goes into shreds, it's shattered into pieces. Now that's a fantasy for the whole world to become awakened. That's not your job to awaken the whole world. Your job is to awaken the self, and eventually, through that process, you're gonna indirectly help awaken others. You can't pour from an empty cup. Don't expect to be, oh man, we gotta make everybody awaken to spirituality through semen retention and celibacy. And everything's gonna be good, we're gonna be living in utopia if you just still fucking addicted to these lower level pleasures as well. Focus on yourself. This is self-mastery. It ain't selfish to do this. This is the least selfish thing you could do. In order for you to become your highest self, you in turn become a divine vessel for God. You become an instrument for the divine. What you were really brought here to do, that is your dharma. You become an outlet, a conduit for the cosmic consciousness to flow through you to help elevate the conscious collective, elevate as well, evolve as well. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Society doesn't want that. They want to put a lid on the conscious development of humanity. Because guess what? If they evolve beyond survival, sex, and status, they break the game. Do you still want to play this dumbass game? Or do you want to break it too and build up your own game? Are you done playing this nonsense? Or are you going to continue to be a slave to it? That's totally up to you. I'm not here to convince you this or that. I'm telling you for what it is. I'm telling you all the details of what's happening behind the scenes of this physical plane, of this material plane. This is what all these esoteric teachers were talking about, all these sages, these mystics, these monks, these sadhus, these great self-realized men. And they imparted this wisdom onto us within the ancient texts. I'm here just taking these ancient texts, making it more modernized, practical for the modern man to apply it into his life. I ain't making shit up. There's Ecclesiastes, I don't know the exact verse, but there's nothing new under the sun. They've been on this. This been the game. This been the bullshit. Do you want to partake in it? Or do you want to go beyond it? That's totally up to you. But what I am saying is, when you go beyond these sexual impulses in specific as a man, that's like beating the final boss of this whole game. Once you get that in control, they can't control you. Oh shit, let me say that again. Once you get that in control, your sexual energy, they can't control you. There's a Kanye West fucking lyric that just came up to mind. They think that I'm out of control, but I'm just not in their control. Something like that. They think I'm out of control, but I'm just not in their control. So when you feel like, oh man, everybody's watching pornography, everyone's doing hookup culture, but I'm going against the grain, people think you're an outcast and out of control. Something we already talked about here on this channel, how celibacy is mocked and made fun of for a reason. If you haven't watched that video, make sure you go run it up after this. That is a plot, a scheme, a psyop. It's there for a reason. They want to think that you're going crazy. Oh man, you're not indulging your lower senses like everybody else? You're a weirdo. You fucking crazy, man. Nah. You ain't crazy, you just ain't in their fucking game no more. You ain't playing around in their circus no more. You've gone beyond that. This is why, again, having a community just like the Philosopher's Circle of like-minded men who are also on this path is gonna help you tremendously to continue along your own journey to spiritual and self-realization. You're not going against the grain no more, you're flowing with life. You're flowing with those who are also going to help elevate and hold you accountable rather than trying to fight against everything around you. Society wants you to be a part of the hive mind. Society wants you to be stuck in that little social bubble of this is what is socially acceptable, this is what is not. Pop that shit. Go beyond it. Go beyond the barriers. Do it first with yourself. And funny enough, you might create a tribe or find a tribe that follows that same pursuit as well. It all starts with you. Your outer world is just a reflection of what's going on in here. What is going on in here? Bullshit, nonsense, degeneracy, then all you're gonna see is bullshit, nonsense, and degeneracy. If you're purifying yourself from within, guess what? You see a more purified world. You attract more purified things. You get closer and closer to that purified state of consciousness, which holds the answers, the keys to your Dharma, what you're brought here to do. You see what I'm saying? They want you to block you from that. They want it disconnected, so you never realize what it is that you're trying to do. You're jumping from this thing to this thing to this thing to this thing, always on that hamster wheel of desires, never actually being truly fulfilled in life. Never being truly satisfied from your spirit, from your soul. This material shit, I'm telling you, man, is not sufficient enough for your soul to be fulfilled. It's not even sufficient enough for your body to be fulfilled. Think about that. After a certain amount of time with your Lambo, you're gonna get bored of it. After a certain amount of time hanging out with this girl, if all you're doing is hanging out for them for the physical acts of intimacy and sex, you're gonna get bored of it. If you're just eating this restaurant all the time, you're gonna get bored of it. Because that's not how you're supposed to operate with your lower level instincts. You were brought here for something deeper, something bigger, something better. And you ain't gonna ever find that if you continue to remain at your base animal instincts. They don't want you to realize that, and that's why this whole shit storm fucking keeps on running. You can be one of those men who breaks free from that, breaks free from the shackles, transcends lust, and leverages his libido to his advantage through practices like semen retention and celibacy. You can be a part of that. And if you're struggling on that journey, man, your boy's got you covered with a whole fucking Art of Retention ebook that's gonna discuss everything you need to succeed on that journey. There's a whole video guide on the main channel. Just look up how to succeed on semen retention. It's on the main channel, Fulati Fitness. Click on that video, watch the video through, and in that video, you'll get access to the Art of Retention ebook. Full ebook for free. Breaking down all the details you need to succeed. And look, bro, if you're retarded, you're dyslexic, you got ADHD, your brain is just fried out, your boy's got you covered with a full audio version of the Art of Retention ebook. Just go on the main channel for Light of Fitness, click on playlist. There's an audio series of the Art of Retention ebook. Click it in while you're walking about, going about your day, working out. Just get up on some game so you ain't out here looking like a motherfucking lame, because you all got all the resources, tools, tips, and techniques to actually transcend beyond this. It's up to you to actually apply it. And look, if that's not sufficient enough, let's book a consultation. Let's have you hop into one of our bi-weekly mastermind live calls in the Philosopher's Circle. Get up on some more game, in-depth game on the private Patreon community. Apply for my personalized coaching if you want direct help to actually go beyond the distractions and illusions that hold you down to your degenerate self and actually break free from that in order to realize and discover your Dharma. This is what we're doing in the personalized coaching program. So if you're interested in stuff like that, again, all the links posted in the pinned comment of this video. But at the end of the day, realize that society is already playing a game that you don't want to be a part of. It's your choice to consciously exit the game, or it's your unconscious choice to remain enveloped and overall suffocated in that game. It's a choice either you make consciously or it happens to you unconsciously. What do you want? Do you want to continue being a slave to your senses? Or do you actually want to see what your higher spiritual essence was brought here to do? Am I saying semen retention and celibacy by itself is going to do that? Absolutely not. But it's a key part to actually cracking the code of the matrix, to actually cracking the code of the Maya, to actually cracking the code to breaking free from this illusion. You got all the sauce, you got all the game that you need to succeed. All you got to do is put it into play. You dig what I'm saying? It's been your boy out here in the field, in the flesh, dropping y'all that game so you guys can make these gains. I'm out of here. Peace.